Good morning and welcome to another edition of Wake Up with YPN. We have been chatting behind the scenes, so we are all smiles and ready to rock and roll. This morning, we have our very own Iowa City Area Association of Realtors, AE Tyler Warner. How are you?
Good, Whitney. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Great. Yes, you're welcome. We're excited to drill you with some questions.
All right, let's have at it. I'm ready.
And then I did want to remind the audience, since typically I do forget, that you can comment with some questions that you would like to have some answers to, and we'll do our best to get those answered. Just go ahead and drop those in the comment section, and we will reference those throughout our quick little session here. So let's just kick right into this. You've been with ICAAR for, over a year now.
Oh, yeah.
And
we're approaching a year and a quarter. We're going full speed ahead.
It was quite the year to move and jump, feet first. But tell us a little bit about some of the initiatives that happened while you have been here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. So my first day here, for those that may not know, I got to meet about 3/4 of the membership that was at Ignite Success in 2019. But then it's like we had 2 months and then the pandemic hit, right? And so everybody was scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, how do we do business now? What needs to change? How do we adapt and stay safe at the same time? And so so that was the biggest task that I was faced with in the start. And so part of those things included, like, from the very basic items, like how do we pay our bills? If we're not trying to be face-to-face, how do we get that done? So now the bills that we do receive, we adopted a system. We got a new bookkeeping firm that kind of is able to operate virtually and set us up with a system to enable us to pay bills online. So literally, treasurer goes on, we meet via Zoom. We go down the bills and items that we have, and if it's all good and great, he clicks pay. It does an auto signature, and then I click pay on the back end. I can't pay anything without the treasurer signing off, because we have the 2-step verification on bills. But that made life exponentially easier. So that was step one. And then step two was figuring out the phones, which took a little longer. I mean, we were all here kind of in and out, and we were able to operate via email. But now we set up a system so that through Microsoft Teams, if we do experience another shutdown again, we'll be able to have access to our phones and be able to audibly answer questions as members have those. But then some of the other things that we did, we freshened up our policy. We established a new policy manual, so it serves as kind of a guideline for committees as they're trying to operate, and it complements our bylaws and our association strat plan. And then, obviously, the most notable to membership is our new website. And having that come forth, we want to put an emphasis on being where the membership is, and that's online. And we want to do things to make the experience more friendly, more approachable, more engaging. And when I sat down, I sat with Megan and I sat with our board of directors. We looked at everything. It was most glaringly obvious that our web presence needed to be freshened and updated to serve the needs of our membership. And then from YPN standpoint, we have Wake Up YPN, right? So we're able to, so part of the goal is to engage on multiple fronts here. And that has kind of been the lesson of the pandemic, outside of safety, of course, and the uncertainty abound throughout communities, is how do we interact with each other? How do we get things done in a virtual manner? Because some of these things aren't going away, right? Some people are going to find that, yes, there's some meetings that you want to do in person, and there's going to be other meetings where it's like, man, that was great not to drive a half hour to one place to meet for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then bounce out, right? So it's just learning how to adapt with this and being comfortable with it.
Yeah, I think that's huge. You kind of mentioned a couple of things like the meetings and stuff. Some meetings we definitely need face-to-face for longer planning, but some meetings where it's like, hey guys, we've got 20 minutes of content here. Let's just jump on, get it done. I think in the future we will utilize that so we can actually have better use of our time and things like that. Yeah. So there's one thing I don't think you mentioned was the new monthly video that you guys are I reviewed that this weekend. I really like that. Just a little shout out for you guys. We're always going 100 miles a minute. So sometimes I do love our monthly email, the newsletter.
Yep.
But that little video was pretty fun too.
It was fun to make. It was fun to sit down, and kudos to Megan for having that pretty well organized and having us where we needed to be with a general frame of how to go about making a video. Because the trick is keeping it to where it's long enough that you get the information you need. And we're not talking too fast. A bad habit that I have. But also not making it too long to where everyone is like, okay, I'm done with this. We're moving.
Yeah.
How do you find that sweet spot? I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it. I hope others enjoyed it. I hope I didn't drag down the quality too much. I know Tracy did an amazing job in filling in there. So glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, that's going to be something we look to do moving forward. And that's really a reflection of our membership survey that we sent out. One of the biggest themes was engagement. We want more videos. We want more content. We want more industry related news. So that is one of many steps to try to address that.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Well, I love it. So thank you.
Yep.
Let's talk about how the board of directors, the staff, the different committees, how do they focus on planning the year for the association? How do they know what to do?
Well, yeah, sure. So let's start with the very foundation, right? And that is the three documents you should have as an association. So that's your bylaws, that's your policy manual, and that's your strategic plan. Before I got here, they were underway of making a strategic plan that goes for a span of about 3 years. And so one of the first things we got here was the message was conveyed as well. We don't want our strategic plan to be created and then just sit on the shelf and collect dust, right? So that's where the policy manual came in and creating that and establishing that, because it created a kind of an ad hoc strat plan committee and said, by end of March, y'all need to meet, review the strat plan. Are these things still needed? Does this need to be revised, or do we need an entirely new strat plan? But that keeps the association, both staff and volunteer leadership, accountable to the strat plan. And keeps us on message and say, are we achieving the things that we do? Because here at the association, your bylaws, your policy manual, and your strat plan, that you wind those up through that's your Bible. That's what intertwines the general membership to your leadership to your staff and keeps everyone accountable in that circle. You saw that this year, when we voted on various amendments. If you remember the membership meeting. Regardless of what was discussed, what you actually saw there and what I was really happy to see was you saw engagement in the membership. We had, I think, over 20% of membership attend. And what that saw was your bylaws in action, because that was a result of something that was in the bylaws and kept us accountable, leaders, staff, and the association's operations accountable to the membership. Saying if you need to pass anything in the bylaws, membership has to, certain percentage of membership has to meet, discuss, be able to deliberate in an open forum, and pass that. And it was really great to see that process work itself out. But yeah, so going back, to how we plan for this year moving forward is really going to be, it's in part reviewing that 3-year strat plan. But that membership survey that people participated in is a big deal to us, and it really serves as keeping a pulse on the membership. Outside of the calls we get, we do monitor, what topics are coming in, what are folks calling Nancy about, what are the pain points there in our MLS and our payment systems and what have you, and what with Megan, what are our offerings educationally, can we enhance. On that, we touch on the survey. It definitely, we heard it loud and clear. So that's kind of what drives us into 2021.
Well, I'm glad that you got feedback on that survey and you were able to adapt to it and pivot and do what you needed to do. So that's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. You never know. It's fun filling them out, and you're like, am I the only one filling this out? Oh no. And that is one of the strengths of this association is the member engagement. There are no shortage of voices.
And a lot of times, for good or bad, the voices are there. If I need an opinion, I don't have to look too hard. and that really is a good thing, because the worst thing you can have as an association is when you ask a question out to the membership or out into your leadership, and the only thing you hear back is crickets. That's when you have a problem. That's when you have disconnect. If there's a fervent debate, I welcome that. That's great. That's growth. And so I think sometimes leaders out in association world, nonprofit world, sometimes get worried, say, "Oh my God, we're going back and forth. Leadership is it's really intense." And it's like, no. This is growth. Yeah. This is what you're seeing is the fleshing out of ideas. This is folks participating in the process of our association, which is really part of the whole purpose of our being, is for members to deliberate one another and in part network, but also talk with each other and voice how they feel the best way to move forward is as an association.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what the rest of this year, I can't believe it's already February, has. Last year was a lot of change, a lot of growth, but I think we rode the waves and we got through it. And I think we're on the uphill and we're going to get through this and eventually we'll be in person. But for now, I think the plan that we have in place is going to work. And like you said, you guys are ready at the office, and I can't wait to see what comes. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, we have some new activities and initiatives the association is going to be focusing on in 2020. You talked about what steers us, and that's our strat plan. Obviously, after this year, no one includes a pandemic into their strat plan, and no one includes shelter at home or any of those aspects. But it did provide a new perspective of how to address operations here and how to address membership. A few of those things that some of you might even seen recently. When it came to dues payment, folks so often complained. You'll always have it. Folks are going to complain about late fees, and I don't want people to pay late either. Contrary to popular belief, I really don't want people to pay late. So to address that, we sent out text reminders, and it was kind of like an A/B test. Say, all right, how are folks going to react to this? Because on the survey, an overwhelming amount of membership said we're okay with getting contacted with text messages so long as it's important. Now, and being important is subjective, but we took a leap to guess that paying your dues on time was important. So we sent a text message reminder. We've seen late fees drop dramatically.
Wonderful.
And we've even had people text back to us and say thank you. It's an automated service, but we still see those messages. So it's been great to see that interaction. So that's one way we're trying to enhance the experience here and trying to meet our membership where they're at. Obviously, you touched on the monthly updates on videos with Tracy and I. That'll be a monthly publication. Some videos are going to be long. Some videos are going to be short, not too long, but we do aim to brief the membership on whatever may be going on here on the state level or nationally or within the industry as a whole. And because that was another part of the feedback in the membership survey. We want to know about what's going on in the industry as a whole. The day-to-day is great down here at the office, but what's impacting our industry? What do we need to be looking towards? How do we need to prepare ourselves and adjust to the market? What are the trends abroad? Because as you know, anything that kind of starts in a bigger market eventually comes here. So we're going to try to keep a pulse on that and provide that to the membership. We have more training on technology. Another piece of feedback we got is we want more tech. We want more tech, and we're trying. We in our latest agreement with Paragon, we got a tax suite that was installed into our MLS, and I think what you're going to see moving forward is there's training videos available, but what we find to be more successful is, again, that engagement with staff here, because there's a trust, it's a familiar face, and you feel more comfortable learning and asking questions, interacting with someone you know. So we're looking for Nancy to start doing training videos on the MLS tax suite coming up. I think membership, once they start to get their heads around what that offers, they're going to be really enthused about what we have available to them. And we've relaunched Commercial Roundtable. That was another piece of feedback. They wanted Commercial Roundtable back. They want to know more about development. We've had 2 installments recently. I think the first one we had about 35 folks show up for, which was a great number for a class. And then the second one we had about 45, 50. So that number is going up now that people, and that's what we want to see. We want to make sure that we're delivering value in any educational offering we have or any networking opportunity that we have. And so on that vein of classes, I am going to do a plug because it is also something of value. We are bringing in Marquis Lemons-Ryhall from the Chicago Association of Realtors to do a 4-hour ethics class. I talked about this in the video with Tracy, but this will satisfy 8. So if you don't know if you're good with ethics, with this ethics cycle, it's here. It's free to membership, I believe. And then there's another class she'll be offering, and both of those classes will be in February. And then in addition to that, we're also teaming up with the state to offer At Home with Diversity on March 24th through the 25th. So again, we're trying to elevate our standards in everything we do and try to meet the membership where they're at and try to satisfy the needs of the membership. And with that, if anybody ever has any questions, ever wants to Zoom with me, I'm available. It's an open door policy here. So.
Wonderful. Yes. And for those classes, it's super easy. I signed up on the website. So
yes, register on the new ICAAR.org. If you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. We hope you like it, and we believe it's easier to navigate. But yes, you can register for your classes in one place.
Yes, very exciting. So, all right. Well, thank you for the update, getting us up to speed on that. And I will let you get back to the rest of your day. But thanks for jumping on with me, and we'll talk with you a little bit later.
All right. I appreciate it. Take care.
You too. Thanks, Tyler.
Bye.